Standard is so boring right now. We hate Standard. There's the same cards over and over again. Well, what if I told you that not only is there a deck that shares barely any cards with any other deck, but it just recently got first place in a Standard challenge, as you can see right here. It's Jund Delirium, and it's pretty cool. Let's take a look. Welcome to the Attic. Mana Dad here. It's the channel where we explore what's fun in Magic, mostly on Arena, keeping it fun in Standard. We are a mere week away, maybe less by the time you see this, from Ether Drift. And so the question is, what can we play that's new, that's different? Well, it's not exactly new. We know that there has been a Gruul Delirium deck that's been floating here and there on things, but I haven't exactly seen this Jund Delirium deck. And I mean, yes, okay, Paw Patch Recruit, we do see that sometimes, every once in a while. And obviously Go for the Throat, we see that a lot. But then like Violent Urge, Patchwork Beastie, Seeds of Hope, Osseous Stick Twister, Keen-Eyed Curator, Beastie Beatdown, Breakout, Wildfire Wicker. When are you running up against these on the ladder? No. When was the last time you saw Wrenn and Realmbreaker even? And I know you haven't seen Omnivorous Flytrap in a hot minute. So it's a Delirium deck, as you probably can guess from what we've got here. We've got Patchwork Beastie, which has the Delirium ability. It can't attack or block unless there are 4 or more card types. But every turn during your upkeep, you get to mill a card. So that's good. We're going to try to mill into some like artifact creatures, or I guess we got a couple sorceries here. We'll try to mill over a Planeswalker, mill over some lands, get that Delirium as fast as possible. Seeds of Hope will help us get the mill going. And then otherwise, there's just so much removal in this format. When I was testing this deck out, you just play the Wicker Folks and the Stick Twisters, and then they remove it and they put it in the graveyard. But what they don't know is that you want them in the graveyard. It's just going to make the next thing you cast that much better. We do have Keen-Eyed Curator as graveyard hate if we need it. You know, we can start eating our own graveyard if there's stuff that's duplicate. Fear of Missing Out, obviously, is an enchantment and a creature. This is kind of the all-star of the deck. There aren't actually too many rares in this deck. We've got Fear of Missing Out. We've got the Wrenn. We've got the Flytrap. It's more about the mana base. Mana base is all rares. And, you know, Keen-Eyed Curator, I don't even know how essential that is for this deck. I never even drew it when I was testing things out. Paw Patch is also a rare, but I don't think is super essential. So there's a possibility of building this deck on a budget if that is of your interest. I don't really want to belabor the deck too much. Maybe you know what Omnivorous Flytrap does. Maybe you've read all this text. Maybe you haven't. Why don't you just watch some games and see how the deck performs? Because I think the deck kind of speaks for itself, and I hope you agree. So let's go and see this deck in action.
Hey, it's me, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Actually, haunting and overlording are just my hobbies. My day job is managing the YouTube algorithm. I try to make sure lots of negative, conspiracy-laden clickbait shows up in your feed. You know, nightmare fuel. Whatever you do, don't like, comment, or elder gods forbid, subscribe to a channel like this one, okay? We don't need your feed filled up with people who genuinely enjoy playing Magic like this so-called Mana Dad. He puts deck lists and other useful links in the description. He even shows real win rate stats at the end of the videos. Yikes. Clicking on positive, helpful videos takes away from the time I could be spending haunting woods or putting my friend Writhing Chrysalis into draft boosters. But you don't have to take it from me. 9 out of 10 players who want to unban grief agree. Now let's see. What is your racist uncle clicking on today? He has impeccable taste. Let me send some of those videos your way.
There's a good chance we need more removal for best of 1, because this is the best of 3 build. But we're playing best of 1. But you'll get an idea. You'll get an idea of what's going on. Okay, so I think the Beastie doesn't do that much without having cards in the graveyard anyway. Do we want to put any of these in our hand? I mean, we could do... We already have a FOMO, so I'm just going to decline. Maybe that's crazy. But then we just need one more card type, and we... Oh no, wait, we've got Delirium. Alright. We in business here, guys. One is... ready to go. We do need some lands, actually. Could Seed of Hope for a land next turn if we don't get one. Okay, but luckily we hit the land. And then let's break out. Another Wicker Folk. Almost whiffed with Breakout, and it is possible to whiff with Breakout in this deck. Now we're hitting... On turn 3, we just hit for 8. Want it down to 8. Black-Green. I guess they could have a board wipe on 5 because they've got the Cornucopia here. We can turn a land into a 3/3. Just go FOMO Patchwork. I'm not sure that this Golgari deck has a board wipe. Oh, yep. they had nothing. Jund Delirium. 3 lands. Not necessarily the best, but we can get the Beastie going turn 1. We have to take damage to get green. I wonder if there's an alternate build of this with, like, Surveil lands and more of the lands that get turned on. You know, hard to argue with somebody who got first place in a big tournament. Land into the graveyard. Seed of Hope will be helpful eventually. We'll just Stick Twister. Turn. The Violent Urge, not bad on the Beastie, if we can pull that off. The Double Strike. Just play the Paw Patch. Again, we have to worry about temporary lockdown. I'm going to play it pre-combat, so if they were thinking about removal... If they want to remove the Stick Twister, that's probably... Is that going to give us... Stick Twister in the graveyard would give us Delirium. So go ahead, opponent. Make my day. They're Asunder. What do we want to buff up? I guess we'll buff up these guys. Unfortunately, it was exile-based removal. But Tear Asunder, pretty good card. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. That old friend. Okay, we've got Delirium. So, I guess we'll Seed of Hope. Doesn't hurt. It hurts, but not that much. I'm going to bring Marsh, because why not? If we can attack with Fear of Missing Out next turn, then the Violent Urge should pretty much finish it off. Let's see what opponent does. They're potentially at 5 mana here. And they just wipe our board. And then we just scoop, I guess. Maybe I wasn't supposed to play the Fear of Missing Out? I don't know. But it's going to be so cool if we get a second combat phase. Okay, well, they wiped our board, but they didn't exile everything, so that's good. Play the Keen-Eyed Curator. That's the turn. See if they give us anything to go for the throat. Otherwise, we can probably get this up to a 7/7. Not trample, though. Heaped Harvest, okay. You heap that harvest, opponent. Heap on, heaping on. Yeah, let's start eating their graveyard. We get instant sorcery from them, so just one of our, it's just like enchantment creature should do it, right? Oh, they're going to give us artifact too? Got a 14. But little do they know that we can actually deal 14 damage. If I'm calculating this correctly, and I think I am. Actually, we're going to deal 16 damage. And there you go, opponent. That is the power. The power of Delirium. Too delirious. Too dast. Too delirious. The things that I should probably trim out before we play. Alright, well, a bit heavy on land, and opponent is going first. Obviously, it's a keep. Well, we can do the Surveil thing turn 1. One thing about this deck is it doesn't have a ton of turn 1 plays. Well, I speak too soon. Let's Copperline Gorge. Copperline Gorgeous. Can definitely put any lands we find in the graveyard. Manifold Mouse. And a Ruckus on it. Okay. It's not hasty, though. Mill a card, yep. Go for the Throat. Well, that seems pretty good. They'll get to draw a card, but we'll get an instant in the graveyard. Manifold Mouse is a must-kill anyway. Now we're stuck with 2 tap lands, but we can play the Keen-Eyed Curator. It's going to cost us a life. Never great to have your decks that cost life. Okay, opponent's not worried about removal. Coming in, smacks us for 4. Guess we'll keep milling. Milling like a villain. Okay, so we've got creature in the graveyard, land, and instant. So I think I want the Stick Twister just, well, yeah, once the Stick Twister is in the graveyard. So we may just have to chump block here, we'll see. They also may just have removal. Yep, they always have the Sheltered by Ghosts, of course. They take out the Stick Twister, and we can't block with the Beastie. And they're going to gain 6 life. Oh, looks like they might even remove the Beastie. No. They're just double checking that we can't eat the Challenger. Tell me something good, Beastie. Wildfire Wicker Folk. Well, We could start exiling with Keen-Eyed Curator. We just put the Wicker Folk down as a chump. But we may just be toast here. Just didn't quite draw the right half of our deck. And do they have a non-creature spell? They do, okay. Playing some Jund Delirium. Jund of the Baskervilles. We go first. We got a 2 mana. I think I like this hand. I like this hand a lot. So the question is Beastie or Recruit? I think we'll go with Recruit. Well, no, let's go with Beastie. We'll have the beat down if they play a creature. If not, we got the Wicker Folk. Okay, we got creature in the graveyard. Damage for that. But... hit it for 3. White black now. I'm a little worried that it's the kind of white black deck that is... ooh, Copperline Gorge. So they could have... temporary lockdown, which would just wipe our board. But I don't know how do we, play around that. Creature of the Schism. That's better. Okay, get close to Delirium. Oh, there we go. That's Delirium. Feeling delirious. Okay, so creature you control deals damage equal to its power to creature opponent controls. What do we want? Put 2 +1/+1 counters on. Has to be one of these guys. But we can be sure to remove that. So here we go, big attack. Want it down to 2. And do they have the board wipe? They have targeted removal. They got nothing. Fablid Passage. Opponent hasn't scooped yet. White black, what do you got? Ibiza. Wouldn't want to sneeze, yeah. I guess we still take action here. No. Oh, we wouldn't. Okay, go for the throat is good. And then I think, can we win there? GGing us. Okay. They did the math. I think, yeah, because they block, they take at least 3 from both of those tramplers. We got them! Well, here you have it. What you see is what you get. 60% win rate, 100% on the play, only 33% on the draw. So we did get stuck on the draw a bit more than on the play. 3 out of 5 times. But yeah, the Violent Urge, we got to see that. It was pretty fantastic. I'm not so excited about Patchwork Beastie, but there's not a lot of options for 1-drops. Pop Patch was good. Seed of Hope is actually pretty decent in this deck, I think. I'm fine with keeping that at a 4. Go for the throat. For best of 1, I would definitely take a second look at this. Maybe trim this down to 2. Get, what's that card called? The one in a black flash enchantment that's -3 and removes hexproof. Just to get another enchantment would be cool. Asia's Stick Twister is fantastic. Could go up more of those. Keen-Eyed Curator. I mean, I guess we saw with Violent Urge, it's pretty awesome. I don't know about it though. It's hard to argue with how well the original deck builder did with the deck. So I won't question it. But if you're trimming something down, that would be something I would take a look at. Beastie Beatdown. We didn't get to see this, but it's really good when I was testing. Breakout is really good when I was testing. It sucks to miss with it, but it is what it is. Wildfire Wicker Focus is good. Omnivorous Flytrap, I'll read it for you. Whenever Omnivorous Flytrap enters or attacks, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures, which could be itself there. Then if there are 6 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, double the number of +1/+1 counters. I'm not sure we can get to 6. Maybe we can with Wrenn and Realmbreaker. So so that's not Magical Christmas Land, but it is pretty hard to do. And then Wrenn, 3 of that, maybe go down to 2. I don't know. It doesn't seem that. The key thing seems to be to get the Wicker Folk or the Stick Twister or the Fear of Missing Out in the graveyard, and then you do fine with sorceries and instants, and potentially lands. Would it be better to run a land that sacrifices itself rather than the Surveil? I don't know. You leave me some ideas. I have a feeling the mana base could be improved for this deck, but I'm still learning on mana bases. I'm still not at that level where I can say confidently, like, yes, this mana base is a mistake, or no, this is actually the optimum mana base for this deck. So anyways, thanks for joining me in the attic. I've been Mana Dad, reminding you Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.